It's episode 18 of Unedited. We're so happy to be here.
Woo.
My name is Ethan Andrews, and I'm joined by Alyssa Unger.
Alyssa, hi. Happy to be here. Yeah.
Alyssa,
You always
hi.
have to say your name, so I wasn't sure if you'd introduce me.
Yeah, I thought I'd throw you for a loop.
Yeah.
Alyssa is an avid listener. She gives us a lot of feedback, actually. Well, maybe not that we've referenced on the show, but in person.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of feedback from you. Mm-hmm. And so Alyssa's joining us today instead of Jordan, and we're excited to get her feed item. We'll be going into feed, sharing some news with each other. We'll be doing In the Neighborhood, just recapping what's going on at the Neighbourhood Church, and also maybe just in the neighborhood that we live in. I'm interested to hear about what's going on in the neighborhood you live in.
Right now. Yeah. Not a lot today. Yeah.
And then we'll be doing How About You, where we talk about feedback from you guys and connect over that. And we'll give you guys a little bit of feedback on your feedback. It's just a feedback loop, basically, is what I never thought of that before. It's literally just a feedback loop. Mm-hmm. So that's exciting. Now, the first thing that we're going to get into is in my feed, and you've brought something, haven't you?
I brought something.
Would you like to go first or second?
I'll go first. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll start us off.
Okay, so here is in my feed.
In my feed.
So in my feed, I don't know, I hope that most of you have seen this by now, but have you ever heard of this pygmy hippo called Moodang? Are you familiar?
Mooding?
Moodang.
No.
What?
Did you say a pygmy hippo?
Yes.
What's a pygmy hippo?
It's so it's a different species of hippo than a regular hippo.
I'm
I guess.
imagining like a house hippo.
It's small. Yeah.
Is
like,
it really?
Yeah. Well, like it grows up to like be, I think like 600 pounds or something. So like still hefty.
Wait, you
but
just
like
it's small, but it's 600 pounds.
well, yeah, but like, a
small for a
baby is
hippo.
really small. So Moodang is this pygmy hippo
Okay.
in a Thailand zoo.
Okay.
And it's just become like an internet sensation. And all I see are like memes about Moodang.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
okay.
just like this little, it means bouncy pork. is what they had like a naming contest.
Okay.
So this zookeeper like took care of this little hippo and was like, this is going to be an internet star. And it's just all over the news. Like New York Times did an article about it. And like, yeah. And I think it has like a Sephora ad campaign because it has
Wait, what? Sephora?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. That
Like
could
the
be
cosmetics company.
the cosmetics company.
It has a campaign.
It has, like, they did a little, like, ad for it because it has, like, rosy pink cheeks. It's just a very cute little hippo.
Oh my goodness.
So,
Ashley sent us pictures.
yeah.
Okay, if you're listening to this or watching this, you need to look up Moodang. Do you know how to spell that?
Moodeng.
Moodang.
Moodang. Yeah.
This thing is cute.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So bouncy pork. Yep.
It looks like a little human baby was turned into a hippo. Like some wizard cast a spell on it or something. That is like goofy cute.
Yeah. So I did like more research because I was like, what's the deal with this pygmy hippo?
Yeah.
So pygmy hippos are native to West Africa.
Okay.
And they're endangered. So there's like less than 2,000 of them left
Oh,
out in
what?
the wild. So this
Dang.
zoo, which is Khao Keo in Thailand,
Oh.
it's like a rehabilitation center for endangered species.
Oh, interesting.
So they breed endangered species.
So like they're
release them.
breeding them. Oh, to release them.
I believe
so
they
not
release
just to
some
keep
of them. They keep some of them, I
Interesting.
think, but I think they try to release what they can release.
That's a really interesting thing about like animal protection and stuff. Hey, everybody's got a different opinion about, zoos.
Zoos, yeah.
Are they supposed to? Yeah.
Yeah,
A zoo
it's
versus a
tough.
rehabilitation center versus like, do you care for an animal and release it with as minimal interaction as possible? Like,
Yeah.
So this guy's like a resident though, Moodang.
Moodang, yeah, born and raised.
Wow.
Yeah,
Born. Right on. Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But yeah, no, since Moodang's like internet sensation fame, the zoo's visitor count has gone from like 800 people a day to 4,000 people a day.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're really making bank on this. I think
Dang.
there's talk they're gonna like copyright their name, Moodang's name, do some merch,
Wow.
raise some money,
That's so awesome.
put it back into the zoo. Yeah.
That's like a local business Saskatoon.
Yeah.
If anybody's listening or watching that has a business, just get a pygmy hippo.
Yeah.
You could get 4,000 visitors. Did you say, is that
A day.
A day?
A day.
Wow. Okay, so they weren't hurting to start with. 800 a day?
800. That's what I thought. That's pretty good.
It seems like a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what goes into the upkeep of a zoo.
Yeah.
Have you seen the movie We Bought a Zoo?
A long time ago, like when it was first released.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget everything about it except some normal people have a zoo.
Yeah. Yeah, some regular Joes.
Let's
you and
just,
I. Yeah.
let's just assume that that's the normal experience of owning a zoo. So we can go watch that movie to clarify. Oh, so Ashley put in the notes here. She said pygmy hippos are 600 pounds. Regular hippos are 3,000 to 9,900 pounds.
Thanks. So yeah, I did. They're smaller than a regular hippo, right? By comparison,
quite a bit
that's
smaller.
quite small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if this little chonker that I'm looking at on my screen is 600 pounds, like he's dense.
Well, he's not full grown.
Okay.
Like he's still a baby.
He's just
I
a
don't know how
baby.
old he is, but I think he was born in like July or June or
Wow.
something like that. So he's little, but his
I
mom
like that
probably
hippo.
600 pounds. Yeah.
Interesting. So how much would be like a brown bear would probably be like 500 pounds, right? Is that... I don't know anything
I have no
about
idea.
bears.
That's the wrong
I'm
thing
like
to compare
trusting
it to.
Ashley to give us some information here. But I'm just curious, like for an animal that I've laid
Right.
eyes on before,
Yeah.
like what the size difference would be maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah, a bear, sure.
Like a brown bear size?
Yeah, I think so. Sure.
A brown bear size hippo called Mudang that's just going to walk up and bite my boot, according to this picture. I can't stop looking at this picture. It's
I know,
just like
he's
really,
cute.
really cute.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's just.
Wow. Well, I love that you brought up an animal feed item. Is that
Actually, because I was so interested in the whale spy
Yeah.
last week, and so
Yeah.
I was like, oh, animals. And then Mudang has literally, I don't like read the news very regularly, so I was actually like trying to research for my in my feed item, and then
Yeah.
I thought, oh, most of this is dark and heavy and
Yep.
depressing.
Yep.
And I was like, you know what? I'm going to stick with something that's actually in my feed. I see it every day.
There
in
you go.
Instagram. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome because that's a little glimpse behind the curtain. If I
Yeah.
don't have something like genuinely come up in a news feed or a social media feed or something, and I never use social media, so it's like
Right.
very rare that but if I don't have it come up organically, I'm just like, what's fun? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
That's how we got the whale last
Yeah.
week, right? But yeah, wow, that's really cool. I think Ashley put in the notes here, brown bears 170 to 1,300 pounds.
Okay, smaller than a brown bear then. Oh wait, 170 pounds?
Yeah, 170 pounds to 1,300 pounds.
Okay,
I'm assuming
pretty
that's
wide
like their,
spectrum.
Yeah,
That's probably like
that must be juvenile up
Yeah.
to, or maybe it's including multiple species. That's a big range.
That's a huge range.
That's
yeah.
like a human range.
Come on.
No,
What
that's
about
not a
black
human range.
bear? Yeah.
Black bears would be more consistent,
More?
I'm assuming.
Yeah, I think
But
so.
they're smaller bears too. Anyway, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure
enough
people
about
watching,
bears.
listening are like, thanks for the podcast about animal weights. But guess what? It's not over yet. Is that all that came from Mudang today?
That's all that came from Mudang.
I love it. Thank you for bringing it up. And anybody who's listening or watching, you need to look it up. Look up pygmy hippos, and you can look up Mudang, and you need to see this. Give us a comment about it. Tell us if you would keep this as a house pet, if it was ethically fine to do, because my first impression is yes.
Yeah.
I wonder, like, if it's 600 pounds, it might like break my stairs or something.
Right.
But
Like I think, but
yeah.
like for a time.
if it was just a
Yeah.
little baby,
Right.
I'd let it chew on my finger.
Yeah. A stunted pygmy hippo. Yeah. Like that never grew.
A little runt pygmy
A little
hippo.
runt, yeah.
Okay, well, the animal news isn't over because last week we talked about Vladimir, the unfortunately deceased, what's the name? Beluga whale.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that, so I have like a couple podcasts that I listen to regularly, like every week.
Mm-hmm. And
one of them is the Relevant Magazine podcast. Well, it's just called the Relevant Podcast. And it's like about Christian culture and stuff. And just full disclosure here, it's like one of the only like Christian podcasts I can listen to that's not just like super cringy and I don't want to shut it off all the time. You know what I mean? So I'm faithful listening to it. And I just got to put the cards on the table. In my feed is an unashamed ripoff of Relevant's item in their show called Relevant Buzz, where they bring like a news article to the table.
Buzz that's relevant.
So
Yeah.
So we literally, when we're like working on revamping Unedited, we were like throwing out segment ideas, and I was like, let's do this thing that Relevant Magazine does, like, because it's always interesting, it's always fun. So anyway, we just relabeled it and we call it In My Feed. So I've always been nervous that one time I'm going to have the same item as them and somebody's going to find out and somebody's going to be like, these guys are just ripping off another podcast.
Right.
It happened. It happened.
No.
Yes. Last week, I'm listening to, so after we did the episode for last week, I'm listening to the week previous's episode of Relevant Podcast, and they're talking about Vladimir. And they're like, they brought it up and they got all into it and stuff. And I was like learning stuff that I didn't see in the article as well. But I was like, man, they posted their episode before we did.
Right.
So it looks like, anyway.
But
I
here,
promise
on
you,
the record, he filmed his In My Feed item before.
That's right.
That's right? Yeah.
Well, okay, technically, I filmed it after they released the episode.
Right.
But I didn't listen to it until the weekend after.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was genuine. I came up with it. Well, I came up with it.
Yeah.
I Google searched. But the Vladimir news doesn't stop there. I just had to bring that up.
Yeah.
Because, like, what are the chances?
Right. Somebody's going to comment and be like, hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, this is copyright infringement.
Yeah.
And you suck at this.
We'll be canceled. Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you even talk at all?
Yeah.
And
get an original
I know
thought.
where you live.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get an original thought. Yeah. Get a job.
Yeah.
I've had that before.
Right.
Hurts every
Quit your
time.
day job.
Quit your day job. But here's the thing. With Vladimir, we got some more news on the animal front. So last week we joked about Vladimir leading a whale uprising, and perhaps that's why he was assassinated.
Right.
Jokes aside, they don't know how he died. They think somebody might have killed him, actually, so it's kind of sad. But
Yeah.
in this fantasy world that we're setting up, just for fun, these whales are in an uprising. He's the leader, right?
Right.
And he's circling. There was a story last week that also coincided where there's like a boat that had like some whales circle around it and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, that's Vladimir's group, you know? Well, this week...
Were they beluga whales? Beluga whales.
I don't know if they're belugas, but he leads all whale kind.
Yeah. Okay.
No nationality borders will keep him. Species and nationality aside, Vladimir leads them all. You know?
Yeah.
He's like the kingpin. Oh yeah, because we're referencing Planet of the Apes, and Caesar leads all the apes. And there's like orangutans and gorillas there and stuff.
That's
but
true.
Caesar's the boss.
Yeah. Okay.
So have you seen those movies?
I haven't. No.
Alyssa, you need to watch those. Yeah. Well, let's just stop this now so you can go watch this right now. That's genuinely worth a watch. Okay.
Okay.
But I found a news article today. There's a man who is solo rowing across the Atlantic, which is insane.
Already a mistake. Yeah.
Yeah. Who would ever do that?
Already not going well. Yeah.
Do you like ocean water?
I hate ocean water. Okay, so I love ocean animals. I've got a shark tattoo or fin tooth tattoo on my hand because
cool.
I love sharks. I think they're cool.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go in the water. No, never.
What about like lakes?
Lakes I can be convinced, but I don't prefer them. Yeah.
Have you ever been to a Great Lake?
I've been to all the Great Lakes actually. I've put my foot in every Great Lake.
Cool.
Yeah.
And was it scary at all? Intimidating?
No. Yeah.
It's just like if you were out there.
Right. Like solo. Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of afraid of drowning, so that's like ties into it a little bit. But
I don't like deep dark water.
Yeah. Like if
where
I can
can't
see the
what's down there.
bottom.
Yeah.
Then I'm okay. So like I've gone in the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
I go in lakes. It's just not my like. I'm not drawn to the water like Moana or something like that. Like I'm no Moana. Yeah.
Moana.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You don't have like the ocean singing
the
to
calling.
you.
No.
Yeah.
Never's happened. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the ocean's terrifying.
Yeah.
And I like swimming in lakes and stuff, but I grew up mostly in northwestern Ontario, where lots of the lakes are like very, very clear. You could like it could be 20 feet deep, and you could look down and sort of get an idea of what's down there at least.
Oh wow,
like,
yeah.
So, although it's really cold and stuff, but I mean, even Lake Superior and Lake Huron, which I've swam in a lot growing up, were more clear more often than not.
Right.
But Lake Superior freaked me out because there'd be these big dips all of a sudden. Like you'd be wading out,
right,
and then it just drops like I don't know how many feet, and you'd anyway. Okay. The point is, this guy's rowing across the Atlantic, which is nuts. Okay. It's insane, and I would never do it. Seems like you would never do it.
I'd never. No.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Ashley, would you ever do it?
No, I wouldn't.
She's not doing it.
Yeah.
And as he's rowing across, a pod of whales starts swimming with him, which is also absolute nightmare fuel.
Scary. Yeah.
That's insane. But it's also kind of like beautiful to think about. If I'm watching it, I'm like, that's amazing. But if I was there, I would literally have a heart attack. Like I think I would be deceased in my boat, you know? Like, no chance.
I'd
But-
never make that trip. Yeah.
yeah, like I can't. A whale, dude. Anyway, so this pod of whales following him, and he's like in this article, which is reported by, you guessed it, NPR. He's surrounded by these whales, and Tom Waddington. I thought it was Wadington for a second. I was like, waiting. That would make sense. Waddington is rowing, and he's like, "Whoa, how majestic, how beautiful!" And he's looking around until one of the whales bumps him. Oh. And then he said that it went from, what did he say? There's a specific phrase that I want to get. It went from David Attenborough to Moby Dick. And I'm just bringing this up because I think that's Vladimir, man. That's Vladimir's whales.
Yeah.
And they're seeking revenge
Right.
for their deceased leader, their comrade, as it were. And they are following this dude. And they're like, you know what? Let's rough this guy up and show him what's what.
Yeah.
I think the international whale ring, spy ring, is real.
Yeah.
I think it's out there.
I think so.
I think that the whales are coming for all of us. I think that give them a couple 100,000 years, they're going to be walking on land.
Oh boy.
They're going to come for us. They're going to dominate the seas first.
Yeah.
And then they're coming for us on land.
Well, a few when did this happen? Months ago? Maybe last year. You know, when the big submarine went missing, all those rich billionaires.
Oh, yes.
Stuff like that. So during that time, there was a lot of talk about the orcas taking over the seas. So this whale conspiracy, it's been around.
Yeah.
And so this Vladimir thing, that's what I was thinking about when I was listening to last week's episode. Because they've an orca's there's been stories about them sinking yachts off the shore of Portugal and they're rising up.
Yeah.
And I've even read stories about different pods of orcas that have never been seen together, meeting up, having little
interesting
schemy plots,
covert meetings,
being seen in the same waters.
They're conspiring.
Yeah. So
wow.
I think it's
and
happening.
Orcas are crazy.
Yeah.
They're mad smart and they're mad dangerous.
Right. Yeah, they got teeth.
They're worse than sharks.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
I would rather be. No, I don't want either. I can't do that. I can't do that. I was going to say I'd rather sharks than orcas, but I can't say that. That's too much.
Yeah.
At least orcas would probably kill you pretty quick.
But they're so big. I think that's what also terrifies me. A shark. Sharks are big.
Some sharks.
Some sharks.
Yeah.
Some sharks are small.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, orcas they're scary. Yeah.
The scary
I
thing
don't want,
about.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh,
go
no,
ahead.
go ahead. Oh, I was just going to say, when you're talking about the paddler, I'd be scared. I think whales are generally pretty friendly. I don't know that they've interacted with a lot of humans. I don't know how based that is, but they got the little krill eaters, and they're not
Those big brushed mouth things.
Yeah, they're not out to eat human flesh.
Yeah, except for orcas.
But I'd still be afraid. But orcas, orcas.
Yeah. And I mean, dolphins,
they're out to eat you.
We don't need to get into it.
No.
But dolphins are the freaks of the sea. They do crazy stuff. It's not
doing
okay
flips,
what they're
showing
doing.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that what you're what else do they
And
do?
some darker stuff.
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah, let's just suffice it to say I don't want to swim with dolphins, orcas, sharks.
Okay.
I don't want to swim with anything.
I'm going to go on a deep dive, see what the dolphins are up to there.
Yeah. You should. Well, okay. Turn on safe search on Google.
Oh,
but
okay.
then
Yeah.
if I'm swimming in a lake and a trout hits my leg or something, that freaks me out. I'm sent. That's it. So I can't even imagine being around a large mammal in the water.
Yeah. Hey, sorry, do I have time? So there's a second little animal in a lake. Lake Erie, the Great Lakes.
Yes.
There was an alligator spotted.
Really?
Yeah, that was gonna be my in my feed item, but then I thought, no, I gotta go mood dang. Yeah. So and now the alligator has disappeared, and they've seen tracks on the beach and stuff. So what they think happened is that somebody had this little alligator as a pet and released it.
It was a release.
Yeah.
That's what happened to the hippos in South America.
Yeah. Really.
The cocaine hippos.
Yeah, they were brought over illegally.
They took over. Yeah, they were brought over illegally,
Oh, yeah.
says Ashley, from Africa by what's his name, that drug kingpin.
Castro? No.
I don't know. I'm not into
Somebody who
the big drug
handled
kingpin.
cocaine, and so they're called the cocaine hippos. But they've overwhelmed
Pablo Escobar.
Yeah. Wow. You know what? It's just so much animal news today.
Yeah.
So much. I'm actually really tempted to just keep going.
Yeah.
I would
I could
love
talk
to.
about animals in water for a long time.
Nice.
I guess.
I could orcas,
Or just animals,
killer
yeah.
whales. Oh, Ashley's added a couple interesting notes here. I'm just going to read really quickly. So, first of all, Ashley likes the ocean.
She would,
Weirdo.
yeah.
The ocean's nice to look at and maybe be on a boat on. That's a whole other
Or
thing.
wade
Let's
into
not
from the
get into
beach.
that. Yeah.
As long as you can still touch the bottom and there's not horrible waves.
And there's not jellyfish.
And there's not, yes. I've gone into the ocean and I saw a jellyfish. It was like little, like maybe
Yeah.
the size of my fist. And
Okay.
I got out immediately. Thought, nope, I don't want to know anything else that's
No
down
matter
there.
how small.
Yeah.
Yep. Ashley scuba dived 3 times in the ocean. Okay.
Okay.
That's
Well,
enough out of you,
yeah.
Ashley. But she did put in the notes orca, or killer whales. Orcas, sorry, are large, powerful aquatic apex predators. They're apex. That's the thing. There have been incidents where orcas were perceived to attack humans in the wild, but such attacks are less common than those by captive orcas.
Yes.
Interesting, which again comes back to the whole zoo thing
Yeah.
and captivity and animals. In captivity, there have been several non-fatal and 4 fatal attacks on humans since the
Yeah.
1970s.
Have you ever watched Blackfish? Blackfish, yeah.
No.
It's a documentary about Tilly. It was a whale in
Okay.
SeaWorld that attacked and killed its like handler.
That's
yeah.
tough. That's some grim
It
stuff.
was sad, yeah.
Because, like, from what we understand of, like, whales and lots of, like, larger mammals is, like, there's a great degree of, like, emotional capacity in those animals.
Well, yeah, they can rise up against humans, sink yachts, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Come onto land and murder us all.
yeah.
It's happening. Colombia has begun sterilizing an invasive herd of hippos dominating rivers near a location that is in Spanish, I'm assuming. Wait, Colombia? Yeah, Colombia is Spanish, right? It's not Portuguese.
Yeah,
No,
it'd be like-
Brazil is
Yeah,
Portuguese,
yeah.
Colombia is Spanish. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
The former estate of drug lord Pablo Escobar is the location. So the roughly 170 hippopotamuses are descended from 4 that Escobar illegally imported in the 1980s to live in his private zoo.
Wow.
See, can you imagine having the job of sterilizing 170 hippos?
I can't imagine getting that call. Like, where would you even, yeah.
No. Like, if you haven't
call?
grown up around people in agriculture dealing with livestock,
Yeah.
even just the idea of having to sterilize an animal in general
Anything
is
is-
earth-shattering.
Yes.
Although, get some farmers down there, they'll get it done. They got the tools for the job.
yeah.
But that's okay. Let's move on
Okay.
from animal news.
Okay, yeah. Enough about the animals.
The animals be crazy, okay? That's all we can say. So that was in my feed. Now it's time for In the Neighborhood.
In the neighborhood.
So this past weekend, in the Neighborhood Church, that is, Pastor Jordan spoke.
Yeah,
And
great sermon.
Jordan's usually here, but after speaking, he was just too done tuckered out. That's not
Yeah.
true. That's not what happened. But he really brought a heater. I thought that was like seriously a really challenging and encouraging message. He was talking about primarily the premise was in our culture, we're definitely very encouraged to be. I don't want to do a disjustice to his words by paraphrasing him, or an injustice to his words by paraphrasing him, but we're encouraged to be self-focused a
Yeah.
lot. And this hyper-individualistic culture, there's also like complicated conversations about, taking care of yourself versus being self-absorbed and,
Right.
how far does that go? And so he kind of addressed that. He brought it up in a tactful way. And then he started talking about how as Christians are challenged to actually look beyond themselves and how we're actually supposed to look at the people around us and care for people. And his whole sermon had some very good points in it. But have you got anything that you had picked up from it that you kind of wanted to highlight?
Yeah, so it was like really good sermon. I thought so too. Challenging, made me think.
Yeah.
That's what I like about a sermon.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting. Like, I feel like today's culture is very you-centered. It's your journey, your truth, your boundaries above everybody else's, which is, and so it was an interesting sermon because you hear that from like the world, let's say, so much. And then to be like, oh, I'm actually supposed to put other people above myself. However, to that, Jordan spoke a little bit about this, but didn't really touch on it. There are lines to be drawn in that, like, you don't want to be a pushover or like people pleaser. But I think he said kind of the root of it is pride. And so when that's the heart of it, I think that's where it gets a little messy. Like, it's okay to have boundaries and okay to say no to things and like, you know, protect yourself.
Yeah.
That's good and should be encouraged. But, and he talked about like the different kinds of pride, which is like, we all often just think pride is like, oh, I'm better than everybody else. That's how I think of pride anyway.
Yeah.
That's
sure.
kind of my immediate correlation.
Yeah.
Then he also added like 2 other points of types of pride. One was, I can do everything by myself. I don't need help. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, it is. I feel like that's definitely something that when he said it, there's a few things he mentioned with pride.
Yeah.
Where I was like, it's a good thing I'm hearing this message, because it's like the reason that we do this stuff at church is so that we can call ourselves together to truth and to like wholeness and to follow Christ's path, right? And I found a few things as he said about pride. I was like, dang, man. Like, trying to do things on my own is like very relatable. I feel like in my personal life, I'm very quick to ask people to help me with things, but if I feel something is like my job to do, like, it's hard for me to not just be like, I'll just get this done. I'll just run it. You know, I'm just going to go for it. Like,
yeah,
it's
this
tough.
is my task.
Yeah.
I feel a little guilty, like trying to like shirk it off or whatever, like to somebody else. But it's like, sometimes you don't have the capacity. And so then it's good. You have to do a heart check, being like, can I actually handle this myself, or am I being prideful? And I don't want to admit that. I can't maybe handle this myself right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's a huge thing spiritually, right? Like, I think, like, so I'm just going to use myself as an example again, but maybe not because everybody needs to be this way, just an example though. But for me, like, I find with my job being church work, it's easy for me to feel like, okay, I gotta get it done. It's in my job, like, I'm supposed to do this. But to actually reach out to God for the support and help in the things that I feel I'm doing for God, the things that are supposed to be in service of God and His kingdom, like, to remind myself that it's like, I'm not supposed to just be doing this out of everything that I have internally to give, but it's actually like, I'm supposed to be getting on board with what God is doing. And I feel like if I struggle with that as somebody who works in vocational ministry, there's got to be, everybody in the church has a ministry, whether they've activated it yet or not, that's okay, but everybody has one. And if I struggle with that in vocational sense, there's got to be other people that struggle out there thinking like, well, I'm supposed to do this for God, I'm supposed to do that for God, and then like forgetting that actually you're not just meant to do it all on your own. Like, God is going to go with you in that, and He's going to walk with you, you know? That really hit me. But yeah, anything else? Sorry.
No. I thought it was really good. I thought one thing, so he was talking about like the passage was Philippians 2 verses 1-5 that he talked about. I really like that verse. I highlighted my Bible. I thought
Nice.
that's a good one. And just talking about like, you can look it up, but like, to paraphrase the Bible, it says like, have you ever received any encouragement, compassion, tenderness, comfort from God? If so, show it to others, is basically the gist of the verse. So yeah, I have it like written in the side of my margins, like, if God has given me compassion, I can be compassionate to others. Like, we should and can bestow what we've received onto others from God. So I just like that verse a lot. I always have, but it was a good reminder, especially in regards to how we treat other people maybe above our own selfish needs. Yeah, it just gives you a different perspective. Like, I can extend this grace to this person because I've been shown so much grace.
Yeah, you know what? And that really points out how I think sometimes we think as Christians that if we like get something nailed down, then we're done and we're good, and we can like, let's say we like really nail something down, we're like, this is right, this is wrong. And we feel like once we get that down, we're like, okay, I'm good and I'm going to live my life and I'm really struggling to try and find the words to say what I'm trying to say. I feel that we can get ourselves in a tricky position where we are prideful about what we think people's behaviors and lifestyle should look like.
Like our values and
Yes.
the black and white of it.
Yeah. And it's a huge blind eye to our own iniquity.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like an iniquity is like a scriptural term for like shortcoming or failing, you know. And so like our own ways that we miss the mark, if we ever lose sight of the fact that we are constantly missing a mark somewhere and that God still loves us, he's still with us, he doesn't chastise us or abandon us or cast us out while we're still working on things that we don't even know is wrong with us. If we turn our eye to that and we think, no, I'm good, I'm in a good place, I'm set up, then that makes space for us to start treating other people where it's like, I see an issue with you in my eyes, and so I'm going to tell you. And Jesus talked about this in the Bible. He talks about how we shouldn't point out a speck in somebody else's eye when we have a large piece of debris in our own eye.
A log.
A log, yeah. So like that large piece of debris, which is like the hyperbole of a log is hilarious.
Yeah.
But the log in your eye is like to think that we can never get to a point where we should even be capable of that pridefulness. And unfortunately, I think we do get there sometimes where we think, well, you just honestly, listeners, viewers, think of any hot issue that you've heard Christians weigh in on where we think that we should be telling other people, you know, this is what God thinks of you while you're figuring this out and working on this. And meanwhile, we think, like, do we just forget the fact that God is actively like working with us in our own iniquities, like our own missing of the mark? Do you kind of get what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I think for me, like it's easier for me to remember God loves me unconditionally. Like that's maybe not always easy. Like sometimes, you know, it slips my mind or whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's like easy to be like, when I make a mistake, oh, God still loves me. That's, you know, I'm sorry I did that. Shouldn't have done that. But I know that his grace covers that.
Right.
But like when you look at other people that are making mistakes, it's hard to remember like God loves them. You know, like even in their, what we might perceive to be wrong or like immoral. I don't know. Like it's hard to forget, or it's easy to forget.
Yeah.
I think that God also loves this person as much as he loves you. Like somebody a few years ago, I don't remember where I heard it or somebody told it to me, but like every person that you meet, God, they could do nothing. Sorry. Every person you meet could do nothing more to make God love them anymore. Like, and also in the same breath, couldn't do anything to make God love them any less.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really good. That's really, really good. Because this has been a theme, I feel like, over the summer at Unedited, is we've been talking about making others out of people.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've kind of wandered our way into that conversation, which is like to make somebody distinct from yourself because of whatever category is like counter gospel, you know, like to live your life according to your convictions and to have standards and to believe that things are wrong and things are right is Christian. That's good. That's okay. But that's also like everybody in the whole world who ever lived and died and will ever live will have a system of values. Yeah. So like that doesn't make you special. Right. The gospel that makes you special is inclusivity and like the fact that there is a God that loves everybody where they're at. That quote is so good. Yeah. Whatever they're doing, it won't separate them more from God or make them love him more. And that's the thing, is that as Christians, we do want people to come into a relationship with Christ. So we want to get them somewhere, but we can forget that God's love isn't contingent on them getting to that somewhere. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. I mean, so I'm having a really hard time putting my thoughts together. So I'm glad that you're here to kind of say those poignant things, because for some reason my brain is not operating at full capacity today. But suffice it to say, pride is a very challenging thing that I think the North American church, especially as a whole, if I was just going to like generalize, really should pay attention to, because it is a sin, which means it is to miss the mark of the standard that we're set to. So pride is missing it. Yeah. Like if we're living in pride, we're missing the point. So this week, as Jordan spoke, I had the opportunity to sit there and to think, oh, there's a couple areas in my life where I'm missing it. I'm missing the mark. So I need to adjust my aim. I need to make some adjustments for myself. And I'm so thankful that the Spirit is gracious and faithful to help me figure that out.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, that's another point is just even this week, the sermon has been impacting my life where my prayer life has been different because of this weekend. So, that's it. Have you got anything else to say about it before we move on from that? Or?
No, we can move on. Yeah.
We're done.
That's it. Yep.
Thanks,
all our
Jordan.
thoughts.
Yeah. So that was In the Neighborhood. We're always happy to be able to talk about things that are happening at the Neighborhood Church. And of course, sometimes we talk about stuff outside of the church, but this sermon was just accessible and applicable to everybody.
Yeah, accessible and applicable. That's
yeah. So if you haven't heard it, go check out the Neighborhood Church on YouTube. Is there a podcast for it?
I think it's online.
SoundCloud.
Oh.
SoundCloud, the Neighborhood Church. And you can listen to if you want to listen to it while you're driving or something, there you go. So yeah, that's the Neighborhood. Thank you, Pastor Jordan, for a good message. And now we're going to go into some feedback time, hearing from you guys and chatting a little bit about the fallout from last week's episode. And moving forward, it's time for How About You?
How about you?
So last week, we got into a large variety of topics. Mm-hmm. We talked about some pizza. Jordan's feed item last week was absolutely ridiculous. The idea that the majority of Canadians prefer Hawaiian, or not Hawaiian, pineapple on pizza as their favorite topping.
I just can't believe that.
Like, I'm convinced, okay, no offense to Jordan.
Yeah.
I'm convinced he missed like a key word there.
Yeah.
Like maybe the majority of Canadians think pineapple is okay on pizza.
Right. Will eat pineapple on pizza.
Yeah, versus favorite
their
topping.
favorite topping.
That blows my
you
mind.
have a list of 100 toppings. You choose pineapple?
Yeah, I actually
think
refuse
so.
to believe it, to be honest. Although I know that Ashley sitting in the room here,
Loves pineapple on
she
pizza.
likes her Hawaiian
Yeah.
pizza.
It was probably Jordan interviewed one person and it was Ashley.
This study was just before the episode started. They were sitting in this room, and Jordan was just like,
I need a feed item, quick.
Yeah, exactly. Do you like pineapple on pizza?
Yeah.
That's majority.
Yeah.
Ashley says lies with probably 45 exclamation marks after it on the show notes. Yeah. Okay, so that's not what happened.
Okay,
But somebody commented, they said Domino's is also my favorite for fast food pizzas, which we had talked about last week. Do you like Domino's?
I eat Domino's. I wouldn't say it's my favorite fast food pizza.
So which is? Just not Domino's.
Just like, I don't know. It's like, maybe part of it is, when you're a student, you get the 50% off Domino's. I ate way too much Domino's as a student. So now I'm kind of, just takes me back to that place where I was like depressed doing my homework, eating a bunch of pizza.
Just miserable.
Like,
yeah. Okay, I get
so
that.
I don't know. I will eat it. Like, it's fine. It's good.
Yeah.
I don't complain. Pizza's pizza to me. Like,
yeah.
I don't know if I have a favorite. I make my own pizza.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like dough from
and
scratch?
all. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And like, how long do you let it rise and stuff? Like,
10 minutes. It's pretty easy.
Wow.
Yeah. It takes me about 30 minutes to make a pizza.
That's like how long it
Start
takes to get a pizza
end.
delivered.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Except when I get delivery, I'm watching The Simpsons while you're making the pizza.
Right.
Like I'm watching The Simpsons, waiting for the pizza to show up. You have to make the pizza the whole time.
Yeah, but I got my little iPad propped up.
So you're watching The Simpsons too?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're all good.
Bob's
okay.
Burgers, actually. But
oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Interesting. I never got into Bob's Burgers.
Yeah, it's my adult cartoon of choice. Yeah.
Right on. I was kind of like, I thought I should get into it because a lot of people I talked to really liked it. And it's probably one of those situations where the pilot is never fully representative of the show.
Well,
so
have you seen the Simpsons pilot? It's like...
It's
drawings, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's what animation is.
Yeah. It's like a cartoon.
It's like
so lame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
actually, The Simpsons was best up to season 11.
Yeah.
Even their like cultural commentary, even commentary about the church and stuff was really on point up to season 11. Like they made interesting jokes about like how church people are. That was like poignant, where I appreciate watching it as a Christian.
Yeah.
And then after that, I feel like they kind of just fell off.
Ned Flanders, you really relate.
Yeah.
to Ned. Neddy boy. Yeah.
Well, truthfully, in the first like 11 seasons, like the things
Yeah.
Ned said, I was like, touche Simpsons.
Yeah.
You know, like we do weird stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we should be teased for that because it's
Yeah.
ridiculous,
Yeah.
you know? But then after that, just to clarify anybody who's listening or watching, I know that they just go on pretty intense tirades against all sorts of religions now,
Yeah.
which I don't support, by the way.
Yeah.
Although I still watch it. Anyway, Domino's. This is a great episode for Rabbit Trails.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
like it. We're just getting into it. So you don't prefer Domino's. I actually probably ironically like Domino's for the same reasons that you don't like Domino's. Because Domino's was like a pizza, a party pizza when I was in college.
Yeah.
And we would all order a bunch and we would watch movies and stuff. It was
Right.
because I lived in a dorm. And so like hanging
Yeah.
out with a group of people eating Domino's was like very positive
Yeah.
association. So I think coming out of college, I mean, it's been, how long has it been? I guess it's been like 9 years since I was in college. So it's really stuck with me.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. No,
yeah.
it's a little different when I was like living in an elderly lady's basement by myself,
Yeah.
eating
Just
pizza,
suffering for the Lord.
dimly
In
lit room. Yeah.
there. You're like, I would turn on all the lights, but
I
it's not
can't.
representative
Yeah.
of
the
how I'm feeling.
of the dark basement that I'm in. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
like, I
Party
just
in
may
a
as
dorm.
well
That sounds
deal
yeah.
with it.
That's definitely different spin.
Yeah. So I like Domino's.
Yeah. I like it. I still order it. Like I've had Domino's
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah.
Just
I'm
not
trying
my
to think
favorite.
of a better fast food, and I can't in terms of pizza.
The other thing, and this might be like part of the pizza appeal to me is how it stays left over. Because like I'm never
Okay.
rarely finishing a whole pizza. Like I buy a pizza to have leftovers.
Right. Yeah.
So like I like Pizza Hut pizza, but only day of. It does
Oh, really?
not keep. Gets way too salty.
Oh.
Cheese gets a little hard. Yeah, so I
Interesting.
don't like that.
Do you have a toaster oven?
I don't have a toaster oven.
Have you got a pan and a stovetop?
I do got a pun with the little water.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've recently been experimenting.
Crust down, little water, cover
Yeah.
it. Yeah, that's
Steams
not
it right
bad.
up. That's
But a
nice.
toaster oven is the goat for warming up pizza
Yeah.
because it gets a little bit crispy.
Or like an air fryer. Yeah. Is it-
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Actually, I had somebody tell me they were going to give me an air fryer, and they never did. Kind of heartbroken by
Yeah.
that.
You should
Anyway.
follow up on that.
Yeah, I probably should. This comment, we read one sentence of this comment so far, and we haven't. So he likes fast food pizzas from Domino's, though I'll usually order 2 larges, he says, from their feast menu, Brooklyn or Pizza and Hawaiian. Interesting.
And Hawaiian, it's on the top of his list.
That's really weird. What a weirdo.
What a weirdo.
I think pepperoni gets ordered the most because it is the least offensive, and a lot of people probably like it, even if it isn't their favorite.
Pepperoni's my favorite.
I agree. It's a
Yeah.
default. Yeah.
Pepperoni is like, it's not even a default. It's like, it's my favorite. I like pepperoni pizza.
Interesting.
I
Yeah,
love
okay.
pepperoni pizza.
I mean, I love pepperoni pizza too, actually. So
Yeah.
mine and my wife's default is chicken bacon ranch because she doesn't like pizza sauce.
Oh, so the Alfredo or
So,
like ranch.
Yeah. So a cream-based sauce.
Yeah.
It's a ranch sauce on that one specifically. She likes
How does
that.
that make
so we
you
get
feel
that.
as a
I
ranch
love it.
hater?
It's great.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Ranch as a base for pizza is good. Yeah.
Statements of my ranch dislike have been greatly overstated.
By you.
By myself
Yeah.
on this podcast,
You have no one to
on
blame.
record.
Yeah.
Yeah, mostly just any reason to throw some shade at Jordan. I'll
Right.
take it. So
I do like chicken bacon ranch.
yeah,
yeah.
it's tasty.
It's a good one. Yeah.
So that's what me and my wife will get. But then if I'm on my own, like the other day, I had a free pizza with Domino's because you get points. I got a pepperoni pizza with added Brooklyn pepperoni on it.
Right. Yeah.
Double pep.
Yeah.
So good.
Nice.
Okay, so that's one comment. There's 2 more. Let's just go into it a little bit further here because, I mean, we've got more than enough to say about this. But another commenter says, there were actually a ton of stories earlier in the year about killer whales ganging up and attacking yachts.
Yes. Yeah.
There we go. Okay, so what you were talking about, the revolution has already started. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
It's happening. Vladimir started
It's
something.
only gaining momentum and
That's
speed.
right.
With,
And
yeah.
now we martyred their leader.
Yeah.
That's all a cause needs is a martyr.
That's so true.
We're done for. Okay, one last commenter says this. This commenter, I'm going to read their name because they're referencing us, referencing them. Cheris last week left 2 truths and a lie on the podcast, and we took a guess. She says, first of all, I love that you guys decided to share my whole life story with the world. Yep. It's why don't we share some more facts about Charis? What else is up with Charis?
I don't. What did we tell? She's student body president. That
Yeah.
we know.
She lives on. No, we didn't do that.
She interned at the Neighbourhood this summer. Did we talk about that?
That's right. I don't know if we did,
Mm-hmm.
but listeners of the show should know that.
They should know that. Yeah. She cut her hair recently.
She does not like. She did. She does
yeah.
not like pumpkin spice drinks. Apparently.
Really?
That's what I heard.
Anti-pumpkin spice.
Yeah. At least that's what was divulged to us at Young Adults. I believe. I could be wrong.
She went to Hawaii in February.
Whoa! Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
With her brother.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
She's about 5'3".
Yeah, I'd say that's probably right. Probably accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In flats.
Yeah. And she does like to wear little high-heeled booties sometimes.
That's true.
Yeah, that's something
That's
about
true.
Charis that I know.
So that person,
Yeah. Her.
she said that we didn't get the truths and lies right. So her 3 things were: she threw up on a roller coaster in Disney World. She shot somebody. No.
No. That.
Read Harry Potter in 2 weeks, the whole series, and she swam with manta rays in Hawaii.
Would you swim with manta rays?
No.
They're a close relative of the shark.
Dude.
So it's, yeah.
They killed.
Don't even gotta say his name.
Yeah. They killed our guy.
They killed our guy.
So I'm not. Those guys
The
are.
guy. That's probably why whales are rising up. I don't know if he worked a lot with whales, but I think like
It's the
a friend
Irwin
of the
family's
ocean
fault.
is a friend of the ocean.
Yep.
You know?
That's deep. Mm-hmm. Basically Moana over here.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
It calls me.
throwback. Yeah. Okay, but Jordan was right. He said that she did not puke on the roller coaster.
Right.
However, he said that it was because it wasn't Disney World, it was Disneyland or something crazy
Right,
like that.
yeah.
But Charis says he was also still wrong. I have never thrown up on a roller coaster in my life. Ha. I've never been to the Saskatoon exhibition either. So, interesting. Jordan was right, but for the wrong reasons.
Right.
So I think Jordan was wrong.
Yeah. Wrong.
Fool.
Now we know another thing about Charis. She's never ever thrown up on a roller coaster, not in her life.
And never been to the Saskatoon X.
Yeah.
And she read the Harry Potter books in 2 weeks.
Right.
And she swam with manta rays in Hawaii. We're just getting more and more information. She says that she also had fun at kickoff weekend, which we were talking about last week, where the Neighbourhood Church had a big kickoff weekend. We had like shaved ice and stuff. But she says the best shaved ice is with sweetened and condensed milk on top, which sounds like you're just trying to
Sweet.
make ice cream now.
Yeah, like just go have ice cream. Yeah, like
Yeah, exactly. Isn't the point
that
of like
point,
shaved
yeah.
ice is like fruity
there's
and
no
light and
like
stuff?
cream. Yeah,
Not like condensed heavy cream. Okay, sorry,
Poured
Charis, you're
on
getting
top.
roasted here
Yeah.
for this, but just go have some ice cream, girl. You can give yourself that treat. All
yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's it.
Don't settle for shaved ice with sweetened
Shaved
condensed
ice, yeah.
milk.
It's like going to get frozen yogurt when you want ice cream.
Right.
It's like just get ice cream.
Just get
you
ice
know.
cream.
But if you want candy and also maybe some ice cream, get frozen yogurt.
Yeah,
Load up that bowl
Right.
of candy.
froyo.
I want frozen yogurt now. I'm such a white girl from 2015 in that way. I love frozen yogurt.
I think I've had it once.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
You
In
should have it
Regina.
more.
Yeah,
In Regina.
yeah. Of all places.
So of course it tasted bad, right?
Yeah, sure.
I'm just kidding. I don't want
it
that
was
to
good.
be a running joke on Unedited that we hate Regina, but
Yeah.
we are in Saskatoon,
Right.
so we kind of have to say something.
Regina has some nice features.
They have some nice features.
Yeah.
There's some redeemable qualities. Yeah, that's just about it. Okay.
Yeah, that's about
Yeah.
it.
Okay, well, that is How About You? But for you guys this week, if you're listening and watching, we want to know what you thought about everything. What did you think about all of our rabbit trails? Oh
What do
my
you
goodness.
think about the animals?
There's so much to get into.
Yeah.
Animals. What do you think about them? Whale, rise up. What's the word I'm looking for?
Revolution.
Yes, revolution.
Mm-hmm.
The whale revolution. They're rising up. Do you like Mudang?
Pygmy hippo.
The pygmy hippo. Yes. And also tell us what you think about pride and what you think about the conversation about our culture and just like what our culture promotes in terms of how we think about ourselves and others. And what do you think that Jesus would say about how we should interact with others versus with ourselves? Interesting conversation. Lots to be said there. Thanks for joining us this week. Thanks, Alyssa, for joining.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Awesome to have you.
Nice.
Suffice it to say, more than enough great conversation.
Yeah.
We'll catch you next week for episode 19.
19. Bye.
Unedited is a ministry expression of the Neighbourhood Church, hosted by Ethan Andrews and Jordan McClellan, produced by Ashley Drayton, voiceover by me, M. Curry. Watch us on Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook, or listen on Spotify or Apple Podcast. Thanks for listening.